Hi cuties. So, as we all know, Jak Da Ripper is the horror game aficionado of the century. That being said, you already know that Mouthwashing had to be the next game that we discuss right here on this beautiful forum. After beating this game today in a single session playthrough, I had to take a bath with a glass of wine next to some candles to calm my nerves, y'all, I'll be honest. It's a grim, dark, depressing, and beautifully crafted PlayStation 1 inspired retro horror game that I cannot recommend enough, but before we discuss what it actually consists of, let's discuss how it came to be. So, Mouthwashing is developed by a team named Wrong Organ, who also made a free video gaming experience a couple years ago titled How Fish is Made, and they're pretty similar art-wise, I'd say. The art designer at the studio actually gave a shout out to Puppet Combo, who is the GOAT of this PS1 style shit, I tell you what, and I really think that they found a niche way to develop another PS1 style horror game, but not make it like the others, if that makes any sense. Cause I'm gonna be honest with y'all, it really feels like we might be getting to a point where the retro horror scene is a little bit oversaturated, but I'm happy to report that Mouthwashing stands amongst the tippity top, in large part due to the first person camera perspective. Fudge all that stuff though, you probably like, Ripper, can you just tell us what the game is actually fucking about, dude? And okay bro, chill, I was getting to it. By the way, this review will be mainly spoiler free as I believe this is the type of video game you need to experience on your own, lest the Ripper ruin a fantastic plot for you, you know? Let me just say, I love the intro to this game. It cuts right to the motherfucking chase and builds tension immediately. You're in the cockpit of what appears to be a ship, and you have to pull out the captain's key that will veer the entire thing dead on a path that will crash the motherfucker. The alarms are blaring, the ship is damn near begging you to not do what you're doing, and the tension is just incredible, like I said, dude. Right before you crash, you go on a PT-style corridor navigation where all the hallways are flooded with the mascot of the company you're working for, and you gotta turn left, go right, go back, and it's pretty spooky, I admit. Then the crash happens, and it cuts forward 2 months later, and you meet the crew that was on board. The ship was able to survive due to the emergency inflation shit they had built into the walls that looks like cottage cheese. And the gang is going back and forth discussing whether or not they should actually check out what the ship was hauling after all this time, because they running out of supplies, y'all. I love a good sci-fi horror plot such as this one, and they said they found a lot of inspiration from movies like Alien, and you can see that when playing this game. That's about as far as I want to go to summarize this for y'all because seriously, go play this damn game. But just know it's a split narrative where you get to go back and forth before and after the crash, learning more exposition about why the captain decided to slam that shit into a rock. There's already so many deep diving vidyas on this game's plot on YouTube that I haven't taken a gander at because I wanted to review this first for y'all, and honestly, I am not that type of YouTuber, bro. I'd like to just talk about the game in general and its overall fun factor, you know? The crew is such a nicely written cast of characters with a great mix of humor, banter, and of course drama. You play as a man named Jimmy who has a lot of problems, I'll say, if you know, you know, but he is essentially the new captain since old Curly got a little... yeah. I'm gonna be so real with y'all, I took a nap and I saw this motherfucker in my nightmares. Like, do you see this freaky ass design, dude? I went into this game not knowing much about it, so when this bastard appeared on my screen, I had like a guttural reaction. Yes, that is the captain, and the crew voted to keep him alive, I suppose to have him see justice if they ever get rescued or something like that. But yeah, narrative aside, you're probably wondering what the gameplay really consists of, and just keep it in a stack, it's certainly the weakest part of the game. The narrative is incredible, but the gameplay is a walking simulator for the most part with a tiny variety of puzzles. And I mean, these puzzles are not Silent Hill knock your socks off thinking ones. There's like one tool you can use that has a UV light for keypad codes, and that's kind of it, y'all. And that's not a slight because I was super locked in gamer neck pointed forward style during my entire session. But by the end of the game, there is a few sections where you have to walk even slower to not make as much noise, and I thought it was pretty boring and grueling, just being real. Listen, I've played many a walking sim, and Mouthwashing trumps a lot of those. However, just don't go into this expecting a lot of gameplay elements besides walking around and picking things up. I'm just setting your expectations a little low, that's all. Seriously, the narrative is the star here. I'm not saying they should do this, but I could easily see a game like this being adapted into a feature-length film. Especially because they wouldn't really have to cut anything out because I was able to beat this game in about 2.5 hours, y'all. For an $11 video game, I'd say that's the perfect amount of content that I would expect, and the quality is out of this world, so I'm not mad at the playtime at all. There's glitchy transitions between each time jump, cinematic-ass yummy cutscenes, and the dialogue is really impactful and easy to follow along with. I love this video game so much. There's a reason it's garnering such a cult fan base this quickly after the release, because the team Wrong Organ behind it are some talented-ass motherfuckers. I mean, there's so many great details when you walk around the ship, and despite it not being the largest setting a video game can have, it's still full of cool things to find, like half-played chess games, you can talk to every character and exhaust all their dialogue to learn more, and of course, play with the captain's mouth. The sound design of a horror game is obviously the most important ingredient of the entire cake, and Mouthwashing has moments where I had to turn the game down because my ears were shitting themselves with fear. In terms of the scares themselves though, it's not PT or anything like that, but the dark human themes the game represents sort of make up for it in that aspect. You can immediately pick up on the fact that it's shedding light on the evil corporations, and the game even tackles other topics like ambitions and failures and such. It is really depressing too, y'all, so save it when you're in a giggle, happy, funny, poopy mood because it'll ruin you. One of the only other complaints I have about the game is you can't really pause it during certain sections, and I had to let my dog outside so she didn't piss on my carpet again, and when I came back, the game skipped a whole section, and I was in a different fucking spot, like, what the fuck? I just love this game so damn much, and I feel like speaking about it doesn't do it much justice. I implore you guys to just check it out, for real. If you're a fan of similar games like Iron Lung, Signalis, or just horror in general, you owe it to yourself to beat this shit in an afternoon. It is that small. 2024 horror games haven't had the craziest bangers besides a select few, which I did make a whole video about, go take a gander please, but I would retroactively squeeze this into the top 5 for sure. By the way, I played this on my Steam Deck docked on my monitor, and I was getting like 150 frames, so the performance should be delicious on whatever type of potato-ass rig you got. And hopefully they eventually put this shit on every single console available, because Jak Da Ripper needs that physical copy right now. In terms of the certified Ripper ranking system, I would have to plug this in at a super solid, fair 9 rips out of 10 rips. My only complaints come from the slightly repetitive gameplay towards the end, a lack of a true pause button for gamers who want to go take a pee, and that's really it. But yeah, Mouthwashing is an incredible dark comedy horror style game experience that might be one of my favorite indie horror video games in a while, despite the market being a little jam-packed right now. It's super cheap on Steam, and it's got my stamp of approval, so go play it right now, bitch. Thank y'all for 912 subscriblets, I love you to death. Go ahead and beat the shit out of the like button. Perhaps go pour some mouthwash on the subscribe, and I love you guys. Bye!